Primary source reader, History 2301, World History to 1500 by Dr. Joshua Pham. Number 9, Hoplite Warfare in Ancient Greece. Introduction. By the 7th century, the Greeks, almost all of the city-states, but with the variation, had developed a new kind of war machine, the hoplites. Heavily armored infantrymen who fought in close formation, protected by a bronze helmet, a breastplate, and leg guards. Each hoplite had a large round shield to protect his own left side and the right side of the man next to, known as the phalanx formation. Their primary weapon was a thrusting spear with a sword as the reserve. The following two poems comes from Tiresias, 7th century BCE, a soldier from Sparta, the most professional phalanx army of ancient Greece, and from Archelaus, a contemporary of Tiresias from island of Paris, who was not a regular soldier, but a mercenary for hire. Questions for the response paper. According to Tiresias, what key military virtues did the Spartan value? What does his poem tell us about the social setting of warfare, the impact of warfare had on families, friends, and community of soldiers? Number 2, what is the most important archaeologist and why? Primary text poems by Tiresias and Archaeologus. Tiresias, the code of the citizen soldier. I would not say anything for a man, nor take account of him, for any speed of his feet or wrestling skill he might have, not if he had the size of a cyclops and strength to go with it, not if he could outrun Boreas, the northern wind of Thrace, not if he were more handsome and gracefully formed than Tithonus, or had more riches than Midas had, or Kinross too. Not if he were more a king than Tantalid Pelops, or had the power of speech and persuasion Adrastus had. Not if he had all splendors except for a fighting spirit, for no man ever proves himself a good man in war, unless he can endure to face the blood and slaughter, go close against the enemy, and fight with his hands. Here is courage, mankind's finest possession. Here is the noblest prize that a young man can endeavor to win. And it is a good thing his polis and all the people share with him. When a man plants his feet and stands in the foremost spears relentlessly, all thought of foul flight completely forgotten, and has trained his heart to be steadfast and to endure, and with his words encourages the man who's stationed beside him. Here is a man who proves himself to be valiant in war. With a sudden rush, he turns to fight the rugged battalions of the enemy and sustains the beating waves of assault. And he who so falls among the champions and loses his sweet life, so blesses with honor his polis, his father, and all his people. With wounds in his chest, where the spear that he was facing has transfixed that massive guard of his shield, and gone through with his breastplate as well. Why, such a man is lamented alike by the young and elders, and all his polis goes into mourning and grievances for his loss. His tomb is pointed out with pride, and so are his children, and his children's children, and afterwards all the race that is his. His shining glory is never forgotten. His name is remembered, and he becomes immortal, though he lies under the ground. when one who it was a brave man has been killed by the furious war god, standing his ground and fighting hard for his children and land. But if he escapes the doom of death, the destroyer of bodies, and wins his battle and bright renown for the work of his spear, all men give place to him, the youth and the elders, and much joy comes his way before he goes down to the dead. Aging, he has reputation among his citizens. No one tries to interfere with his honors or all he deserves. All men withdraw before his presence and yield their seats to him. The youth and the men of age, and even those older than he. Thus a man should endeavor to reach this high place of courage with all his heart, and so trying never be backward in war. Acrocolis, elegy. Some barbarians is waving my shield, since I was obliged to leave that perfectly good piece of equipment behind under a bush. But I got away, so what does it matter? Let this shield go. I can buy another one equally good. There's no respect or fame from townsmen when you're dead. It's the praise of the living we want while we're alive. A dead man gets the worst of it every time. That's the end of Hoplite Warfare in ancient Greece.